Salim from Notorious S back at it again. Baby. Hope you're ready. We're talking about comfort. Why it's the killer of men and why you should avoid it like it's the Black Plague. Example. The people that we've grown up looking up to. Doesn't matter if it's a movie star, entertainer, athlete, and all these things. The way I see it, it's like a pattern. There's like different stages to their careers / lives. And at some point, they face a decline in their careers where you're going to see them in the news doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, partying, whatever, divorces and all these things. And they kind of enter a downward spiral. What I've noticed, it's never the phase. It's never during the phase where they're going up, chasing success, trying to achieve everything that they set out to get in the first place. It doesn't matter if it's the money, if it's the women, if it's the acclaim, if it's all these things. It's never during that specific phase because they're being tested by life. Remember, you're going to be tested according to what you're asking out of life, right? The more you ask, the more you're going to be tested. During that phase, they're kind of zoned in, focused on getting what they wanted to get. But at some point, somewhere along the way, they get complacent. They get fed, like they're fed. They're full. They don't need anything more. And that's kind of the beginning of the end for most people, especially people that are successful, that achieved what they wanted, right? In order to kind of avoid that, getting caught up in that downward spiral and becoming complacent, you have to willingly put yourself in hard situations to test your pain tolerance. Your pain tolerance has to get higher so that you don't get complacent, right? Because life's gonna test us either way. Like it's gonna test us either way. Don't get it twisted. The only difference or the only choice we have is whether we're gonna be ready for those tests or whether we're gonna be victims of life and actually just complain like most people do. Oh, I don't know what happened. Life is so hard. Life is not that hard. It's kind of the same for most people. We don't have the same hands, but we live the kind of same tests. It's just basically custom to our lives. Right? Like you've probably heard this before, but if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready, right? It means you have to be constantly putting yourself in a situation where you're facing challenges and hurdles so that the ones you'll face in your life kind of seem smaller. If you run on a daily basis, if you run 10, 15, 20 minutes, the 20 minutes eventually are going to seem like it's nothing. I run on the treadmill every time I go to the gym. Not now, obviously, because it's Ramadan and I do Ramadan, but usually I run 20 minutes every session. When I started, I was out of breath like a mug. Now, 20 minutes seems like it's nothing. I could run it with my eyes closed. It's really easy. It has to be kind of the same thing in your life, but with the challenges you face. Shout out to my anime guys. I'm giving a good analogy. If you look at Dragon Ball Z, right? Goku's base form when it started. First saga against the Saiyans versus Dragon Ball Super Goku right now, his base form. Worlds apart. He's much stronger now because every time Goku powers up, gets a new level, Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4, his base form increases as well. We have to do the same thing with our base form as people, and the way we do it is the same. We train. We put ourselves willingly through hardships. We got to work out through physical labor, physical training, go to the gym. But it also trains our mental health. Why? Is because the mind gives up first. The mind is commanding the body, right? If your mind stops, then you're not going to keep on running. That's the main way we got to do it. We really got to do it. And how deep it goes is really up to you. But how deep it goes for me is, bro, if I take the subway or the metro, shout out to my Montreal guys, the metro. Do you take the stairs or do you take the escalators? I take the stairs. Do you walk one stair at a time or do you take 2, 3, 4 stairs? Why? It seems like it's nothing, honestly. But it's just an analogy for life in general. Do you take the easy way out or do you take the mild way or the harder way out? Now, obviously, bro, we're not applauding people for always taking the hard option. It's not always good. But in this case specifically, it is because it gets you used to doing things that are harder. You really think about that. When's the last time you challenged yourself? When's the last time you were faced with 2 decisions? One that you knew was harder for you, but you actually went with the harder one. Are you used to choosing the easy way out? If the answer is yes, you got to ask yourself some questions. Because that's probably why you're soft. If you actually look at yourself, objectively and take your ego out, you're kind of soft. Why? It's because we've all been there. I'm not judging you. I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you. I want you to like kind of really think about that. That's one. You got to put yourself through not danger, but like willingly put yourself through hardships. Two, it's our perspective. How do we see things? No, it's hard when you're in the middle of a situation, you're facing the hardships, to tell yourself, you know what? Everybody goes through these things. But think about it. Like, I live in a first world country. Most of the people that are going to watch this video live in first world countries as well, right? You know, you could always find somebody else that has it harder, even here, but in third world countries as well. You'll find villages or kids in villages in Africa that walk miles on ends on a daily basis to get water, food, whatnot, to bring it back to their homes, that have smiles on their faces. And here, we're dealing with mental illnesses more than ever before. Because we're more prone to that, because on a daily or on average, we're softer in all areas of life. And we kind of have a hard time stepping back from our own bubbles that we live in, which is kind of what makes sense. We're kind of egotistical as people, right? So we only think of ourselves because we're focused on our situation. But if you really take time to step back and look at it, you'll be like, look, listen, man, I don't have it that hard. I don't have it that hard. So really think about that next time you have that hardship. It's not to make you feel bad about your situation. You should be focused on your life. But it's somebody somewhere closer than you think has it harder. It's just how they react to it. Things that I live now in my day-to-day life that I used to flip out over, I don't even budge when they happen to me. Because I've gotten accustomed to it. I'm not surprised. Sometimes things happen, I'll just read a letter. Oh, I got this in the mail. I got that. This happened. And I don't even, like, I'm not numb. And it's not like I don't give a fuck about it. But I'm like, okay, good. Next. How do I fix it? I don't got time to wallow in self-pity and think of myself as like the biggest victim in the world. And you should stop thinking about that as well. Because you're not the only one, bro. Shout out to, I think it's Hamza. He said, you're not that special. Don't think like, and it's kind of a humbling sentence. You're not that special. Don't think you're the only one going through these hardships. The only difference, the only thing you could do is affect how you react to it and get on to the next thing. That's my piece about it. That's my 2 cents, folks. Tap in with me. Let me know what you thought about the video. Comment, subscribe if you like the content. I'm going to holla at you next time. Peace.